Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we are going to be doing more of our Twitch extension. I installed a couple things so that we're ready, but I have not really looked too much to it, so we'll see. We'll learn together how far we could get here, but we're going to be using React, which I actually have not used much because I don't do much web development, honestly, but we'll learn together. And that's fun, right? We'll see how far we can get during stream here, but let me just set up. I'm going to start some music here. Once it loads, there we go. We'll have to see if that's a good volume or not. Can I minimize this and stuff? This looks like it. You'll see my initial reaction. Yes, that's very true. I wonder if I should put this on shuffle. There we go. All right, we're shuffling all of my royalty-free stuff that I have. All right, let me go to the Twitch extension here. All right, off to a great start. For some reason, it's not capturing Visual Studio. I just tested this a couple seconds ago. There we go. All right, so as we can see, I have started my extension over here on the right, top right. So previously what we worked on is under this folder here. What we had was this CSS file for styles. And then this is what the HTML that actually created our little table and everything we were working on. And then we had a couple images of the games that were in there at the time. What I added since then, I just created this example extension. I just was following the tutorial for the Twitch front-end development stuff. It explains how you do this, but basically in a terminal, you are going to have to, well, first you need a node.js. So it'll tell you to install that. Inside of node.js is npm, which will help you install things. So you'll do this. Oops. npm install global yarn. So that'll install yarn. And then from there, you can create the extension. So it'll be yarn create react example app. Now I'm not going to run it here because I actually haven't set up the permissions for a PowerShell. I guess I could show the command prompt here, but oops, don't really want another copy. So you would do install like this, and then you would run this to create the example extension app. And that creates this folder here. Now I haven't actually touched anything in this folder yet. But when you're in this folder, I have this running in a different command prompt since I don't have the extent, but I don't have the permissions. So you'll just do yarn start like this. And it'll start the app. As it says here, yarn start, there we go. Now there's a couple other things here, test, build, and eject, but I think we can just use start, and it'll put it on my local here. So that is what you're seeing in the top right. After yarn start, it opens this up in a browser. So that's actually just a browser tab that I have. And it spans. So that's the example there. And of course, when I click off of it, it'll stop updating. But the React will let us update it as we're working on it, among many other things. React lets you do a little bit more. I guess you could call it object-oriented. It lets you create classes and stuff and new HTML tags that you can put in for your own thing. So if we look at, here's the source files. This public folder just has like the various logos and the manifest for the JSON, which is like for the images. So what it looks like, very similar. They have their CSS file for the styling of everything. So it'll have the app, the font and everything, all the colors, that kind of stuff. And then here's the index. Oh, that's the CSS. So you'll see the JSON, or not, yeah, this app.js file here. This is what has the HTML in it within a function. So this app function you can call in order to display this HTML that they have written out in their example here. And you see this creates a header with the image, with the logo image. And then it has this paragraph you can see under the image, edit source app.js and save to reload. So if we edit, for example, this and put like a page here, we save that, it should update. Yep. So now it's updated. So that's cool, right? So now we can just update things by going back to the page. We don't have to like restart the application or anything like that. And then there's a link here. That's the Learn React that they have down there. Learn React. So you can see that this is what you're seeing on that page, right? Then with this test.js, this is where they import these two files, and then they call test, render the app. So this is what's actually rendering this function here. And then they have like the link element as a const, which is a type of variable here. And they expect that link to be in the document. So basically we can create functions and classes in here. And then in here, we can run those functions and things in order to actually do a more like runtime type of deal, which will mean that we can click on things, change it around. It's a little more, well, reactive. That's why they call it React, right? All right. This index is kind of like the main file here. So it gets the root here and it's rendering that app here through the React DOM here. So it's rendering that root by getting that root element here. So in order to change anything, also there's like a couple files in here that are things that we probably don't really need to worry too much about for now. And then you see in the README, you can learn more about the different types of things that we have here for React. I like the documentation one up. I don't know what the yarn lock is for, but it's in all the yarn files. But I don't need to worry about that. So, all right. So, first things first, we can swap over our stuff into here. So we have our index here. Now we can break this up into different functions. For now, I'm just gonna put all of it into one function, and then we'll cut it up. But it'll just be easier to have it in the app, I think. So if we paste this in here, I've got extra. I think I have extra stuff in here. Hold on. Let's put all of this into a div. This might be what it wants. All right. So all of this is in one thing. Oh, it still doesn't like it. What does it not? Is it the image? Okay, that's right. This is something I learned about in React when I was perusing React. We do need to close all of our tags, even tags like image, which you don't normally have to close. But you can close it like this. Okay, everything's closed off. Is now successfully divved. Yes. So now we can see this is what we had. Okay, now clearly the images aren't working because, well, the images were not in here anymore. So what we can do, I don't know if I want to put the images in the source. Probably, right? I think I need everything in one spot for the Twitch extension. Let's make a folder in here, and let's just call this assets. Let's grab these pictures that we had and throw them into the assets. And then instead of the source here, I think we can do assets slash. I think that should work. Let's test it before we move on here. That did not seem to work. That is assets. Maybe we can't do folder structure within. I could do a folder inside the source for the image here. Is that the issue? Let me see real quick. If we move this up, and then we touch the file and save. No, that didn't seem to work either. Maybe if we refresh. All right. So there's something else going on here. Oh, images. Class is the image, source is the image, and then alt. Children of the sun.jpg. Yeah, that should work. That should show up. I wonder if React has something specific you need to do for images. Time to look into some React stuff. All right. So, I guess we could look at the example, which had. Oh, I can't look at the example now. I kind of deleted that part, huh? Let me cut this out. How did they do? Their image moves and stuff, though, so I don't know if it's any different. Oh, interesting. The root of the folder might be where we need to start for that. The image's source logo is .logo asset vg, which is this inside of this. So our thing should work. Oops. Let's do that. All right. We might need to do that. If that's not it, then then we might need to do this. Which also doesn't seem to work. I don't know. Because they did the logo like this. You shouldn't need the dot slash, but I'll double check it. I don't know if I need to render it in real time like they had while putting, or maybe it needs to be an SVG. As you see, it's kind of weird if it needed to be an SVG. Let's see if I can find something about this. All right. We need, okay, you can import a file right into the in a JavaScript module. Oh, does it have to be in a JavaScript module? I guess the import is something we would need. Oh, okay, so it caches the image, that's why it sounds like. Okay, so we do need to do it the way that they had set up here. So we'll need to import. We'll call this one pillar. I guess what we could do, just to make it a little more easily swap outable, let's import game one. Well, I don't know if it's gonna be mad if I have numbers in here. From, and then we can do assets, and then for now we'll just do like, pillar frequency. Let's put this back in there, and then we're gonna do that. Game 2, game 3, and game 4. Oops. Okay. We need, what's game 2? Children of the Sun. Downpour. And we'll get you. Alright. So in the side of the source, instead of putting the actual file path, we can put in our actual variable. So here's our variable. We don't need this anymore. And then we'll do that for all the rest. Just delete these. Why don't we just do this so that we can type it? Oh, I messed up. Type it in multiple spots at once, make it a little easier. So game, oops. And then I guess, yeah, we'll just stop there. And then go game 2, game 3, game 4. Also, I didn't really explain this. I don't know if people are doing programming and stuff, but if you're in like Visual Studio code like this, what I just did, you can alt click and that'll put a cursor on every spot you're alt clicking. Then you can edit all at the same time. So like if I named this class something else, I could change it all at once. Now of course you could do like a find for something like that, but if I'm doing something similar but not the exact same, then I might do like what I just did, type game for all of those at once. Anyway, so let's save this and let's see if this works. Hey, there we go. All right, cool. Now let's get our CSS back in here. So this is what we had for the styles. Let's go into the CSS here. Victory, yes, victory indeed. I'm gonna comment out this block. Oops. Will it let me do that? Oh, cool. All right. Control KC, by the way, comment block for whatever you're highlighting. So we'll just comment that out in case we want it for later. Paste in our CSS that we had previously for the styles. And hopefully that just works there. Yep, looks like it did. Popped in what we had. Excuse me. All right. So I think this is basically what we had last time. Now I might want to put in like a background or something. If I want to do, what would I want that under? Do we have a table going on here? How did we set this up? All right, so our table has our games, images, and then we have a list for this. Okay, and then we've got the coins div here. All right, let's call this div something here for now. Actually, this may be where we can start doing classes and stuff for React. So we see this is all kind of samey. Not a lot different in these. So we could make a class for these. And that would let us just put the class down 4 times, calling it whatever. And just putting in parameters for these things. That might work better. Let me see what the syntax is for a React class then. All right, React. I'm just gonna say WW3, they have good tutorials. All right. A React class is class cart and it has to extend a React.component, it looks like. Creates and inherits React component, React functions, okay. So we need to do class, and let's call this, maybe we had it called game cell, so we could keep that. And it needs to extend React.component. I think we just do an open close bracket. Let me double check. Yeah. Okay, so it has a render function, and that's gonna show us the HTML. So let's put the HTML in here. Also, what? Okay. Let's do this. There we go. All right, so render is what we want this in. So when we call render, it'll look something like this. So if we, for example, in here, call game cell. Actually, I think we might need to make an object that we are rendering here first. Oh, that's right, it's a tag. So the classes that we make here are kind of like tags. So we would do like a game cell tag like this. Oops, slash. Then we have to call like a render. We might have to call a root.render for these. Let me see. How can I call a component from something else? States. constructor. This might work. Let's just try this, see if this works. So let's save our file here. Okay, so there's an error. All right, so this can tell us what's wrong. React not defined. Render method should have a return statement. A return statement, really? Oh, it returns that. Okay, so we need to do return. There, so it'll return this like that. All right, we need to import React up here. This should be, let's order this in the correct way here. So what is our import? In order to extend React.component, we probably need to import something specific. Just import React from React should work. That's what it looks like. All right, so that should help. Let's go back to our thing. Okay, so it's at least not broken, but we do need to figure out how to render. So it looked like something like this, but since it's root, I'm not sure. We probably need to put a semicolon at the end. Let me see. Yeah, so I don't know if this is going to work within here. No, didn't think so. So let me see how we can call. Let me looking stuff up. React. What do we want to call this? React class in function or something. All right. How do we put it in the, call it in a function? I don't know if we need to like make a class that has it instead of a function that has it, but let's see. Within the components part, it might tell us here. All right. Root.render, let's see. We can put properties within it. So it looks like we need to do a React DOM.create. Create root though? Is that right? It seems, because that's what we have. In the test here. This is a function call that just renders app. Oh, so do we just need to do that? We just do a render call maybe? No. I'm not 100% sure actually then. I thought it was just going to be doing this. That's what it made it seem like. Let's see. Click car, we export it, and then we create root. That's what they're showing. I don't think we could create a root in here though. We could try. Which one has the actual? This had root, I thought. No root. This has root. This index.json. So it's something like this, where it's doing a root.render. But if we do create root, I'm not sure it's gonna work. We can try it though. Could try like a React DOM something. Let's see. So let's make, well, do we need a variable name? We might be able to just do name cell, or cell equals. We don't have React DOM imported in here. Told you we were going to learn together. So if we do create a root and then do root.render, it's probably going to get mad at us that we have multiple roots, is my guess here. What else do we need to put inside of the root here? Document.getElement by ID. Root. I guess we could just copy it from here. Let's see. That did not help. Because it's putting it in as text. Right. Let's see. I was hoping it was going to be easier than this. It probably is, and I just don't know what I'm doing. All right, let's look at the class here. So if we want to render the car is their example. Sorry, if we want to render the image that we have here. We have the constructor, we have states, properties in the constructor. We'll get to that. Components in components. Here we go. All right. So we have it extends the React component. So they have it inside of another class. You can refer to components inside of other components. A function is a component, right? Yeah, functions are components. It says to just call it like a tag here. Yeah. So what we had previously is what it's saying works. If I did something like this. Why do these have extra? Oh. Let's line these up correctly here. But let's line up with this. This needs to go one more. Okay, and that can go up as well. And then this should line up with that. There we go. Now it's a little bit neater. Okay, so it's saying that I could do this. So this class just renders and returns that. Let me double check what it's looking like here. It returns the div and then when that one is rendered. Yeah, this should work then. There's apparently something, it's unreachable for some reason. Why is it unreachable, I wonder? Oops. The render function has a return statement with the HTML we want displayed. So maybe this function needs to actually be a class and not a function in order for this to work. You might need to have React component within it, and then we'll need a render function that has all of this in it. Okay. Oh. Is it not reachable because of my indentation? Hold on. Let's go back. That's really interesting, huh? Is it that? Do I just need to do this? Oops. You have to have this on this line. Can I do it with a bracket? I just don't like having it on the same. Doesn't seem like I can do it that way. I don't like this. I like it being more spaced out. Let's see if this works. That doesn't seem to work anyway. We do have that here. Alright, so it still might need to be a class with the, so that it can extend the component here. Alright, our render function. We'll return this. Still doesn't seem to work. It's declared but never used. Well, it should be used here. It's spelled the same. What am I doing wrong? Class extends the component. This class extends the component. It returns this, which has the other component inside of it. And when we do root.render on that component, it renders it on that component. It might be this strict mode tag. Let's try it without strict mode and see. No, that doesn't seem to do it. We don't need this. So, what am I doing wrong? Do I need to end the... Yeah. Is it also that I need to do this? Does everything need to be spaced in a certain way for React? That's not it. Why are you not working? Because the render isn't ended. Maybe that might be part of it. Syntax. That's not it though. I really feel like that should be fine. All right. There's an image in here. There's that in there. Should basically be copy pasted over here. I'm looking at it and I'm not seeing it. Let me run their example here. I'm not allowed to edit their example. You used to be able to edit their examples. I'm not sure why this doesn't want to work. Is it because it's missing the import? It's importing app from app. This should be in the same namespace here. I mean, I don't see how this would make a difference. Yeah, that didn't seem to do anything. Okay, so it's not that it's not grabbing it. Why is this not working? Classic programming. It's just fixing issues. Alright, we need to... I kind of want to put this on the screen so everybody else can see what I'm looking at. What I can do, I wonder if this will work. If I do this, yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is looking stuff up. All right, so here's our example that I'm trying to get here. So the example they have the component, the render, return, and that's what we've got, right? And so this is their class car, and then inside their class garage, they put the car tag, just like a normal HTML tag. Just what I thought we were doing over here. We have the game cell class. It's render, and then we're returning. And then inside of here, we're putting the game cell like that. Garage extends the React component. Yeah, that really seems like it should work. I don't know what we're doing wrong. We could, I suppose we could do something like this, but I don't think that's necessary. All right, so this is basically what that one file is doing, this index file, right? I mean, it has this strict mode, whatever that means. I don't really know. Maybe I'll see what React strict mode is. Is that something we need to worry about? You can see the shows that I'm looking at often. All right, strict mode highlights potential problems in the application. Okay. So that's not, okay. That's not doing anything to stop us. Just learning stuff, fixing stuff, and learning stuff. Yeah, pretty much. I told you we're going to be learning together. I don't have experience with React, and this is how you learn. By looking stuff up and then fixing it, trying something. If that doesn't work, you know, try something else. Just kind of messing around. Yeah. So they have a function that, okay. I don't think we'll need to upgrade. Sounds about right. Yep. I don't think that's anything specific to programming either. It's just how you learn stuff in general. You fail and then you eventually succeed after you figure out why you failed. Okay, we don't need to upgrade. So there's ES6 class stuff, but we're not using that, I don't think. So to render HTML, yeah, so you would normally render like that. You have in your HTML code. This is getting it inside of a const variable there. The root node, it's like a container. It does not have to be a div element. Okay, sure. JSX. So where we can use things like this. And then components is where we're at here. So you can do component class or function. You render a component as if it were normal HTML. You can do properties, components and components. Yeah, I don't know. This is exactly what we were trying to do, a component like this. Let's dumb it down. Oops, what did I do? So let's see if we can't do it with just game cell. And of course I did the wrong slash again. If I'm doing that wrong. So I did update this, but it did not do it correctly. So now is the problem that we're doing like the table. What if we did instead, we return paragraph of a test. Let's save that and see if that fixes it. Nope. Is the problem with the spacing again? If we did something like this, would it? It's not the spacing. All right. What are we doing wrong? This is a function returning a function, but it said we could do that with classes here. All right, class extends the direct component. You render. Inside of render, you call the return statement. In this case, they don't use the parentheses, but I don't think that would make a difference. We could just copy their thing over here. Let's see if theirs works. So here's their example. And then let's call garage inside of here. And then we go back here. So that does work. Their example works. So what are we doing wrong? Is it, do you have to use a specific capitalization? That's a possibility. Weird that they would make it so that you have to capitalize with Pascal case. That is interesting. Does this explain that somewhere? I thought I read through it, but okay. Oh, there it is. The component's name must start with the uppercase letter. That is interesting. Okay. We have figured out what we did wrong. So, oh wait, no. How do you undo the comment again? I don't remember. Let's just use here. All right. Oops. What did I hit at the other? Oh, I see. This one doesn't actually go all the way up to here. That's what happened. All right. What is this one? This one is these. Can we just format here? All right. Format. There we go. Much better. I don't have to manually format. So this should work. Let's see. All right, so our image isn't rendering, but that might just be the way in which we're doing this. Well, no, because it should have the alt text. So I wonder if we can't use a cell inside of the return statement for a React component. Oh no, we just need to capitalize this G. That's what it is. Let's save that. Go to our React app. Woo, we did it! We solved our issue. Learning all the quirks. Yep. Nothing will beat VTL's quirks, I think, but yay, we did it. All right, so now we can do something that we saw inside of here, which is the properties, right? So inside of our properties, we can change things using tags like this, which kind of, what it looks like to me anyway, makes it so that we can use it kind of like a parameter inside of a function or something like that, right? So, or like the constructor, right? We probably don't really need to use the constructor and some default values. I don't think we really need default values for this. Yeah, probably not. So what we're gonna do is, all right, so how do we call it inside here? So it's like this props color. Okay, so whatever property we want to name here. So we have game cell class, game image class. Okay, so we want this to be something. Although that, oh, yeah, we probably still want alt text to be something we could input as the name of the game or something. Although we could just do it as, we could grab this name. Nah, let's just make it something we can put in there. All right, so it'll be this, as in this object, this game cell, dot props, dot, and then we'll just call it text. And that way we can in here put text equals frequency, right? And then this, instead of the source being like game one, we can do source is this dot props dot image or something. And then our image is equal to, I guess we want it to be game one, not that. And that way we can have this tag instead of this tag. It'll look a little neater, right? And we could even go one step further and just make this table into one class. And that class has these. And we just pass in like the first, we pass in like the games and their names as a map or something. So let's see if this works correctly. Looks like it does. And say, for example, we mistyped this. Hold on, I'm gonna sneeze. Okay, back. All right, so if we mistyped it, I was just gonna say that's not found for here. That's fine. That's fine, whatever. I guess what we could do is just this. Oops, forgot that code does that. This will give us the alt text. Yeah, so there's our alt text. All right, everything's working fine. So now we can replace these ugly double tags with this cool single tag. And then we would set this. And then we would have like true beauty. Yeah, exactly. Now we don't actually have to have alt text. The reason you have alt text is if for some reason the picture can't load. Now it could be on client side, so we probably do want to keep alt text in there just so in case someone can't load the images, but they can load the text. Although the images are going to be saved, I mean, there'd be... Because I'm just thinking about, we could have it so that we don't actually have to input anything, but we might as well have the text here. So this would be children of the sun. Now what we could do is this text could be placed under the image or something. I kind of like just seeing the image though. All right. This is downpour. Not accurate to our selection anymore. Little meter game. Cool. Let's put our little apostrophe in there. I don't think we need to escape that character, so that should still, yeah. Cool, cool. Okay. So now we could do what I was saying and do like a game. Oops, table. Now that we know how to do this, we can go crazy with it. Now, I guess I'll leave it all like this because for the return statement you have to do it. I don't like having the open bracket on the same line. Just because if it was on like its own line like this, you know, it just makes things a little neater in my brain. We're not allowed to do that for the return, so I'm gonna keep it consistent. All right, so what we're gonna do for the game table here, we're gonna return this whole thing. Now we might as well grab this whole div. Like that. What's the hotkey for format? Shift Alt F, okay. So now here we can just put game table. And of course I did the wrong slash. Every time I'm gonna do the wrong slash. I don't know why. Cool. So now what we can do is like the names of the games within here. So we could have like a name of the first, right? Name 2, and just set it so that we can put the names into here. And of course we don't really need we don't need this alt text, but if we want to make sure you'll at least know the name of the game if the image doesn't load, then we'd want it like this, right? So instead of this text here, let's grab these, and at least it'll be all in one spot. And we can put this name up here at the top, actually. We might do that. Just so it's all in one spot, easy to find. If we need to edit it, which we will every time we need. Now, the other thing is, once we have the back end, we can grab the images and the text from like a database of stuff instead. And I would just update the database with the current games. And then this would just pull from the database. But we're still just on front end, really. And then this list we'll figure out as well. So inside of here, we'll do the same props thing. And we'll go ahead and just do this. And this will be game 2, 3, 2, game 3, and game 4. And that should all function. Let's double check. Looks good. Cool. So now we just have this one for the whole table. Now we could do one for this backlog as well, which we probably want to do because it'll probably also want to pull from a database, and it'll probably look neater if it's not in a big thing here. So let's do backlog. Oops, forgot a space. React.component. We need to do a render. Oops. I hit delete instead of end. And return. Oh, we need to do this actually. All right, so we're gonna return this. Correct slash this time. All right, so that should render the table like we had it before, which it looks like it does. Cool. So now in the future, these kinds of things will be just grabbed from our database, and we won't need this, which is called game table probably. And then this text here would just be grabbed from a database. We'd have some stuff, some code in here to, like, you know, grab the top 4 games or whatever. Gamies. Like that. But for now, we'll just leave it how it is. These could be variables that are set somewhere else, but I think I'm okay with it for now. So now it's starting to look a lot nicer. This coins thing will also probably want a class eventually for, and I could put these classes into separate files to clean it up a little bit, which I might do. But for now, we'll keep it here. We need to open release. Get this div in there. Okay. We just have game table, backlog, coins. Don't really need this div, but we might as well keep it, I guess, in case we want to change, like, I guess we could do, like, the, wait, color. I think this changes the background color. Nope. what does a div have? Div tag. What styles can we have on a div? Background dash color. So yeah, if we wanted to do like a background color. Let's do like a let's just do a hex code here. So that would be white. What if we did like, it's RGB, so red and green and blue. Okay, so let's do something like that. It would be a slightly like yellow tinge, I think. I don't think it worked. Like if it did red. Do we have a, what's our CSS? The background color for the coins. It's called background color. That should work, I would think. Oh, no, because it's a style tag. What's a good color that matches kind of, let's see, our background? So like a slightly darker version of the skies. It's like a medium turquoise. And there's like light sky blue. Yeah, so why is that not working? Let's see. Can a div have a background? Yeah, something like this. So the div, yeah, the div can have a background color. Oh, it's all lowercase for that. This is probably all lowercase. But it should let me do the HTML code. I'm wondering why it's not letting me do background color in the div here. Did I spell it right? Background color. Interesting. Maybe you can't split CSS and HTML like that? I mean, you should be able to, but why don't we make this div have a class called full extension or something, or main works for me. I guess we would probably want it to be the ID instead of the class. The main ID. The ID is hashtag, right?
Hello, Johnny there? Hello, Johnny? Look, I've got an idea.
Pretty sure that should work. Background color, light, sky blues. Let's try it. Oop, that's the wrong. Yeah, so it'd be like that. Okay. It's probably not the color. I'd like it to be slightly darker than this. Let's just do a color picker here. What matches like our background color? Something like that. Colors is something cool. Once we have an actual setup, figure out. And okay, so what else do we need? Oh yeah, we wanted to make the coins like a sticky so that when you scroll up, it stays on the bottom. So like if we had this shrunken down. Oh, it is a sticky already. We've already done that. So you can see it stays on the bottom of the page here. I didn't realize we had already, yeah, position sticky. Look at that. Cool, so that's already done. Now we want to make it so that when we click it, like, yeah, nice, already done. Yeah. If we want to click one of the images, it would like highlight it, and then you could click like a vote button. Something like that would be nice, right? So we'd probably want a button on the bottom right. And then this is when we'll start having to do like backend stuff, is when we're doing like the actual calls. What are they called? Whatever the HTML calls are called. Your classics post and whatnot. But we'll probably want a button at the bottom right or something. Or maybe the top. Yeah, the bottom right would look best, right? So let's go ahead and make a class for like the vote button. I guess you could do all those in front end, like the calls probably could be done through JavaScript/React. But the back end, we would need some kind of database that's gathering that information. And then just also reading the information from the back end to update the list and stuff. So we would want to render this. We would want it to be I guess we could make a form. But we want to render a button either way that says vote on it. Or something. Why don't we put the vote button here? And it'll be a button with like the ID of put a button on it. That way we can edit it here. So the coins, we'll have the vote button. We'll also want it to have a sticky position. And then we'll also want it on the bottom. We also want it on the right, so 0 space on the right. And then background color, I don't know, just make it purple for now. So let's see if that worked. All right, so here we have it. I thought, oh no, we need to do align. Is it align self? There's some kind of align, text align, vertical align. Oops, I missed. Vertical align. That's another way to do this, right? Yeah. We also probably want the coins and the bun to be kind of like in the same. We probably want this to be not a div. If it's a paragraph, yeah. I guess it probably doesn't matter if it's a div or paragraph. But we probably want these to be just like side by side in the div. Instead of it being separate like this. How do you align? This we probably want it to be a vertical align as well. I think vertical align is more consistent. Let's just double check that that keeps the sticky. Oh, it doesn't keep the sticky. So maybe we want this to keep the sticky. Yeah, okay, it keeps the sticky. So now we just need this to be on the right side. The vote button. I thought was right 0. We want, oh, it's justify self. I think that might be it. Justify self to the right. Nope. Justify self. I thought that was it. Well, HTML. Line right. Oops. The text line? I guess text align would align it within the bounding box of the div or whatever we're using. In this case, the div, we would want it to be let's say we wanted it to be just half for the size, so it would be like width 50%. Now it'll go here. Okay. And then we would want the vote button to be a small width as well. We could just do 50% as well here. And I guess that's true. It doesn't need to be a specific width since it's a button. It's not a div. We want it to be over here on the right, though. I don't think it's text align, but we can try it. Because this will just align it within the button itself, the text, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, so let's see, like this centered button like that. Okay. Vertical center, position, absolute, top 50%. Transform, translate white. Oh, that's something I've never seen before. Because they're using like this position absolute thing. Oh, that's right. You need to do a flex box. This is what I've seen. A flex box. Does that mean it needs a bounding box? No. Oh, it does. It has a div here for the bounding. I wonder if the button itself can be. So if we did display flex and then we did, is it justify? No. Align items, height, border. Yeah, so we did like align. Right. Is that not allowed? And it might need a div. It might need to be inside of a div. HTML. Let's see what properties we have for a button. A type. So by now you can put text and tags, which we eventually probably have like an image and stuff for it to make it look a little neater. All right, disabled form action, type, and value. Yeah, so this is kind of getting into the forms, which is kind of what we might need to do so that we can send it. But it doesn't look like. Let's see, text align, display inline block is what they use here. This is kind of what we want. So an inline block. We could try that. Run back again. There we go. Okay, well, it's an inline block. We might want to make the coins an inline block as well then. That's what we want. Look at that. So now we have the vote button here, the coins here. That purple needs to be... Is there like a light purple? It needs to be pink, I guess. That's a little better to see. Okay. So now we got this button, we got the coins section, which I mean would probably be like a yellow. Not that bright of a yellow though, probably. Ooh, that's bright yellow. I guess we could do the RGB tag like this. So let's do. Oh, this is 256 is max, right? And we want it to be more yellow, so we do this red. No, something like that. I guess that does make it more green blue. It's wait, what makes it yellow with RGB? I thought it was green and blue, but that does make it teal. Blue, red and green. Do we need less blue? What does red and green do in an RGB? Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. Beautiful clashing colors. Colors we'll figure out some other time. Probably. Not right now. But just to get an idea. Now we have like a coin spot. We have our vote button. Color mixing, yeah. And then we have the 4 games, which we could swap out pictures of by just swapping out their thing in the assets, which brings me to the fact that I'd probably want to just call these like these files 1, 2, 3, 4 or something. So it's a lot easier to swap them out. Although, yeah, all right. So this would be like 1, 2, 3, 4. What this will do is make it so that it'll be easier to get to change the files out here. We won't have to change these names ever. Well, I guess in the future we're pulling from a database anyway, so it doesn't matter too much, but that should work. Oh, I mixed them up, I think. I think killer frequency was supposed to be 1. Let's see. Yeah, killer frequency was supposed to be 1. Doesn't really matter too much. I'll just change these around. Children of the Sun. Killer frequency. And downpour. There we go. Now the text will be correct. All right. So we could throw in, ooh, what if we could throw in the wheels? Well, I guess the wheel doesn't need be, because this is the extension that users would be doing. You would select something, that thing would highlight, and then you could click the vote button, and the highlighted thing would add to whatever counter, whatever I'm using on the back end. And then I could grab from that to make the visual for like my side. I think that's the plan. Now I don't have the back end stuff set up, so we might have to come back to that next time to do the actual back end, because I'll probably have to install a few things and I have to figure out what database to use, which probably will end up just being like an Excel spreadsheet or something with Google Forms or something like that, just so it's free. I don't know, there's probably some free databases that I could use. And then we'll probably want images and stuff. Let's see if we can do a click highlight. So if we want something to be highlighted, does React let us with like an event? Yeah, on click event. All right, so in React you would do like on click shoot like this, and then the function, there'd be an alert. Instead of an alert, we would want to like change the CSS of the thing that got clicked, which I'm sure is possible. Let's just do like an on click. So can we make something clickable? Instead of it having to be a button? HTML clickable. Button tag. Image is a link. I don't think. Yeah, so this is just putting a link around the image. And then you have a button that has on clicks. Suppose we could make them all buttons. Let's just try doing buttons for all of these. So if we said this was a button. Oh, that's right. Now all four get changed to be buttons. Image, we probably want game cell is 45%. The image is 100. It should extend. I guess having a border is not bad. This will be a class game button. Okay, so all of the game buttons. I copied that and then typed it. We'll have, is it a background color? Let's see if it's a background color that we're changing. Yeah. So the background color will kind of be like the border. It'll probably end up matching whatever this one's gonna be. I'd imagine something like that. So that it's a little neater. Something like that. Anyway, so now we have the buttons. So now when we click this button, we want it to highlight. So all right, on click for these buttons, we'll want to change the CSS. Can we do something like that? CSS React styling. Oh yeah, we could do it with the params the reason before. But can we change it? I guess we could. I'm not sure. CSS to style buttons. Yeah, something like this. When you click it, it does that instead. So, oh, button one hover. So can I just click? Oops. Oh, this is gonna let me click, change it. So if I did click, on click. I think it's called on click or something. So there's hover, there's what else? I guess this IntelliSense might tell me. So if I did game button, click, on click, there's hover. Let's just see if we can button update HTML click. Or update CSS is more accurate. All right, so this sizes, rounding the button, color button, border, hoverable button, shadow button? Oh, they have like a shadow, I see. Disabled button, width, groups, bordered groups, button on image, animated button, a pressed effect, fade in hover, ripple effect on click. It's after, active after. So we're looking at after. I guess that would be change this to be, I don't know. Would be a good color for the background of the selected one. I guess we could just make it like a much darker yellow. What if we did like this? I guess dark yellow makes this brown, huh? That's a good point. Yellow. Let's do that. Yellow, the non-existent existent color. Is it active that we want then? That's what they had, right? It's like after. Oh, active after. I don't know if that is what we're looking for. Doesn't seem to be. Oops. I'm not sure. That is what it looks like here. So if we did, oh, maybe we need like this transition thing. We did background color on their thing here. We did like red, or even just to get white. 1, 2, 3. Oops. I keep hitting save, but we need to hit run. Doesn't look like that makes too much of a difference. So what if we did no transition? Okay, so the transition is the thing that seems to matter here. If we got rid of the after, no. Opacity, transition 0 second. Transition. Okay. I want them to explain that part because they just have the examples. They don't have like an explanation for changing it. Change the color of a button on click. Here we go. Here's the pseudo selector. Allows you to style an element during the time it's being activated by the user. Okay, so when it's active, it's just as it's being clicked. You could do an event listener. That's what more of what we want. Is that it stays that way. Of course, jQuery kind of complicates it a little more, but probably works a little better for what we're going for. We could do like an event listener using just JavaScript, since these are already JavaScripts, these files. All right. So we need to make a script. Equals document to query selector button. Add event listener click. Style background green. Now can we make it so that it selects that you can select a different button? Alternatively, we can make it so you don't have to click this vote button, you just click on the one that you want. Then it would do the highlight. And if you wanted to like change to a different vote, you could do that. And then you would need to hit this button. Or, well, I was gonna say, or you just click on one and then it just does that one. But then if you were like on the phone and you're like scrolling, you might actually hit it. Kind of, what way would be the best here? Not sure. Excuse me. We would want something more like this with an event listener. But can you do an event listener that's separate to that? Or can you do maybe like the same kind of event listener using React? Let's see what the forms say. Forms is where you get the inputs. Submit form, multiple input fields, text area, select. But it's not one of these. Oh, there goes the song. The intro song. This is Xanthat's intro song, I believe, right? Interesting. So using a map for the list is kind of more what we'd end up doing. I guess an event is more what we're looking for. So we would do so this class game button on click, we would do like a what we want to call this function. Color, let's see, current button, set current button. That could be what the function is called. Do function, I think. Set current button. Is this the wrong way to do React? Component. Function. Oh, right. We need the parameters. There we go. So we would set it as current. So that would call that function. We could pass in parameters perhaps to that function. I wonder if we can. Yeah, with the props we can send something in for properties. That's not exactly what we want. We would want could we change the properties? I guess we could have like that variable for each of these buttons. A game cell could have a color variable, and that color is changed from the button click. Would that work? So I'm thinking we would have like a background color tag here instead. And this would be like props. Right. Or maybe just like BG color so that's the right thing. And then we would have their color here for each of these. And this is where this color would come in. Well, I guess this we would actually want it to be like a variable. Yeah, all caps. So this would be like unselected button. And this would be the selected button. And we would just change this. What did we do? I think we just did this, right? Just for test purposes here. Anyway, this one doesn't give us the box. Alright, and then here, instead, we would just put the like unselected button property. Then we don't need this. I think that should. RGB is not defined. Okay. Let me just do a hex code. What do we have here? 200? Let's just do like E0. Nope, that's still very white. Let's do that. Oh, well, it said it as an RGB. I want it to be what if we just did A0? Is that good? That's more yellow. Private items are not allowed to set class bodies. Oops, do I need to do this for it? Will that let me do it? Just do the same code with 00. Okay, so that does not work. But it didn't crash. It compiled still. It did not set the color. So let's look at the variable calling for React. Pros, events, conditionals. Where are variables? You have consts. I guess it would be a const. can be. This one's like creating elements though. It would be something like this. Text, number. Hey, how's it going? Thank you for the raid, Alexander6. Thank you so much. Yo, how's it going? We are currently working on a Twitch extension. I'll quickly show what we've got so far. Right here, we've got, so on Saturdays, we have a voting for choosing which game to play next. These are outdated for that, but this will let us all vote on which game to choose. So you'd like click the button and vote on the game. And then there'd be like a backlog of games. Eventually I want to make this so that you have like coins that you can spend to move these backlog games up to here. And then when it comes to voting time, your coins you've spent would make it so that it changes this list around. So maybe if there's a game you really want to see down here, you know, you could spend some coins to get up here. And then you could earn coins by voting on games that have been passed up multiple times. Or via channel points. I'm not really sure at this point. But that's the idea, right? So we could have this little voting system. And if it's not a day where you're voting, you could still be interacting with this list and moving things up and down. That's the idea. So that's what we've been working on. What were you up to on your stream? Right now we're just trying to get this so that when we click on the button, it would have it highlighted. We're using React right now, so I've never used React before. I am learning right now. So we're working on a niche little SaaS app for managing tennis clubs and forming groups of players of similar experience. Oh, that's cool. I do like that idea too. That's cool. Yeah, this is my first time doing React, so it's been a little bit of a learning curve, but I've gotten some stuff down. We've got all our components. I'll probably separate these into different files to make it a little cleaner, but you're also using React because you need to learn it for work. Fair enough. I'm using React because that's what a Twitch extension uses. I don't do a lot of web development at work, so I don't really need to use or learn React. My development's almost exclusively in C++, so that and VTL, which VTL kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So right now, I'm just trying to figure out how we can save a color inside of a variable. I did want to change these to be const, and I don't think we need the variable tag. So that we could like update the color. You learned to develop with C and C++. Nice. I mostly learned in Java, and then in college I learned like all these other languages like Emacs and C++ and C# and, you know, JavaScript and other web like HTML and stuff. I guess HTML I knew in high school, but yeah, I started with Java when I was like 11 or so. Use a lot of Java. I can't get away from it. Fair enough. Yeah. I learned Java because that's kind of what I learned by making games, and that's what those starter game ones had, like Greenfoot and Blue Jay. I think those were both Java. Yeah, so right now we're just working on this. Getting these colors so that we can put them in as a property so that we could like change this property around. I think what I want is like on click to change this property, and I don't know if that's something you can do in React. That's what we're trying to figure out. I don't know, so we'll see. Right now, I just want to get the color working for the variable here. I don't think this variable is going to work. Yeah, that didn't work. So, I don't think it worked. No. We'll do it with like a more obvious color to start. But I don't know, because you can't just do the hash, the color hash, and we weren't able to do it with like the, oh, thank you. Oh, actually, I just realized my alerts are being covered up. Thank you for the follow. There we go. All right. Oh, thank you. Yes. Hate to raid and run. Well, that's usually how it works, you know? If you're raiding somebody's because you're ending stream, because you have other things. Dog needs out. Yeah. I mainly do like indie gaming and stuff, but at least once a month, every first Wednesday, I do programming. So, and then on the Saturdays, I'm playing a game that is voted on by Chap. And once that game is done, then Chat votes on a new one. And then on Wednesdays, I do one that I choose to play, or programming. That's kind of how it goes for me. So yeah, hope to see you again. Thank you for the good luck wishes. Thank you for stopping by. Go let that dog out. See ya. All right, let's see if we can find. Oh, fun. Whoa, that's crazy looking. All right. So let's do. Oh yeah, we were looking at using an event listener for the callback function. But I think React makes so we don't need an event listener. I'm hoping that that's what our little, it wasn't the JSX. What was it that we were looking at for that? Anyway, doesn't matter that much. I need to figure out if I can put in a color. Let's do React variable color. Okay, style props and object containing key value pairs of styles. Oh, okay, so it's a key value pair. And then I can apply the style. The issue in your code is that you wrap color var in brackets. They're doing this. So can I do this style? I guess this style would overwrite the other style one way or another. So if we did the style for the unselected button up here, so here's our color. Let's just do like red for now. Does it have to be those pairs? The color variable is in quotes. So we do something like this, right? Let's just make it really obvious for now. Selected, and then the unselected, and then selected. This would be like, yeah, blue. I guess this would be background color is what we want. Background color. Something they don't like. It doesn't like having the dash in this pairing for some reason. I guess color would work for a button instead of background color. Well, let's just see if this works. So this will be like a style tag instead. I'll just throw it in as style here and leave it the same. Background color, whatever. Whatever. We'll fix the variable name some other time. Or I guess we have time to. Let's just can we do a refactor? No. Let's just alt select all of this. Let's call it something style. Let's call it game button style. Kind of a clunkier name, but it's fine. Let's see if that works. Refresh this. Doesn't look like it does. Gangnam style. That is a shorter way. But then I'll like open this in a month and I'll be like, what was I? What is this? What if I can't follow this anymore? So that doesn't quite work. Let's get this out of the way. The issue is that you wrap the variable in brackets. So it should be able to work this way. And this should overwrite any other CSS, right? I don't have any CSS anyway. Style would be the unselected button version, which means the color should be red. Yeah. Why is this not working? Yeah, it should be something like this. And the color variable here, in their case, would be like red. I'm not sure why that doesn't work. Let's see if there's a different answer. So we got themes here, light and dark theme. That's a good, yeah, so something like that. Text is style div, theme, heading. Theme equals like light or dark, light, okay, return, button on click, next theme. And then on this app, you would have use state. Oh, that's true. There's a state thing. Is that something I might want to do? Theme toggler. Yeah, set theme. Set theme. Oh, because the theme provider has a set theme, I guess. Alright. I'm not 100% sure if I like this way of doing it. Because then you need like the theme provider tag and everything as well. Let's see if... What? Oh, where is it? Didn't... It was called state. Could have sworn there's states somewhere here. Oh, is it under class? Is that where it was? Here it is. State object. Initializing constructor. So this state is equal to this. Using the state object, okay. So we could do this dot state dot color model year, and then we can change it with set state. So we have this state and then this dot set state color blue. Yeah, this is what we're looking for. Something like this. On click this dot change color. Yeah. Okay. This is exactly what we're looking for. So let's get a state going. So let's make a constructor for our little class. We need a constructor with the properties. And inside the constructor, we'll call super. By the way, what super is doing is it's calling the constructor for the class that it extends. So like this react.component constructor. That way we don't lose any information or any construction that we would get if we just created a component. It's not always necessary in programming languages, but in this one it says to state super so that the construction of the component happens. Okay, so now we have a state, and we set the state. How was it? This dot state. And then we could have the color in this state. Color. Let's just do red for now to make it. Let's make it red. Oh, is it a parentheses and not a curly brace? Oh, equals. Do we not use... Okay. Oh, I see. It's set up like a CSS. The color is red. And then... we would want to set up the same kind of change color function. They just put it inside the class. That makes sense, you know. Change color inside the class. So let's do select. Let's do like a select. I guess we could do this like set current button. Set as current. Could be what the function's called. There we go. Set as current. And then, oh, we don't need the function for this. In here, we would want to change the color, the state. So this dot set state is what we're looking for. And the set state, instead of this, we're putting, do we need to put this dot state again? Probably not, right? Yeah, so let's do color, and we'll call it blue. Okay, then we don't need this anymore. Okay, so this dot set state blue, right? Let's see if this works. Compile error, set current button is not defined. Oh, set as current is what we're looking at. So we go here, all right, set as current. Woo, errors, fun. Cannot read properties of undefined. Cannot read the properties of undefined for set state. Did I do the set state wrong? This dot set state. The color blue. Do we have to do it as like this lambda expression thing that you're doing here with the arrow? Change color equals function. That's a lambda. That's kind of what it's saying, right? Lambda being like an inline function, meaning it's just on runtime basically. Well, that fixed the error, but it is not setting the color. Does it need to be background color? It does not like that. Set state. This does set state on click. That's how they're using this, right? This dot set state dot color. This is A, and then on click they do change color. Oh, but they're not using it as a tag. It's just like a key value pair here. So am I able to set the props with the state? Gives me more quick. All right. Can I put that within a style in here? Should component update render. Did update. So can we have the button? Oh, that's probably partly why the style was in the wrong spot. Style equals color, and then this would be this dot state dot color. Is that how you do the style? That's how you do style, right? Style. Maybe it doesn't like this being in here. HTML style. Style tag. Okay, that's not. I guess it's not the whole tag. I don't want the whole text. I want the style button tag. Oh. We'll skip this one because it's gonna be. We'll hear that one later. CSS button styles. It's just a property. HTML style property or attribute. Oh, that's how it's set up. So it would be. Oh, but in React, is it different? Right? We do something like this? Probably not. I guess we could just say color is this dot state to color. Will that work? No, but it didn't crash. This dot state dot color. I'm not sure. It seems like this should work, but it doesn't seem to want to do something like that. Oh yeah, wait. Set state show false. I'll click div, see my header. If this dot state dot show my header equals Chap. Now I could do an if statement. That's what I need, maybe. And this would be selected. Select also true. So instead of here, I'd say if this dot state dot selected equals, well, let's see, yeah, true. Okay, they said if in the render. Yeah, that's how I was using it in the example. What the heck? Oh, it's before the return. I see. That makes sense. So let's make a variable. Let's call it button equals this. And then if the state is true, then the button is this. And then here, it's button. Can you call it like that? It needs to be in brackets. Like that. It has no corresponding closing tag. You're right. So I guess we'll have to do the whole button. Format. Let's do like this. Just to make it look a little neater. There. There we go. Alright, so now what we need to do is make the button style. That is not how you spell style. There we go. Color. Alright. Button is not defined. Should be defined. It's right here. Because it did this weird spacing. Isn't that what it said to do? You do something like my header, and then my header is in here, like that. We just need a let. If it's not a let, is it a problem with scope? Objects are not valid as a React child. An object with keys button. If you meant to render a collection of children, use an array instead. But it's just the one button, right? It does it not like it because it has a table in it. I guess what we could do is separate this out into different classes. Is that what it wants us to do? Or did I just fail to set this up right? What does a variable look like here? This is running the stuff. Render HTML? Yeah, an element. Okay, it needs to have parens, I think. Let's do that. Parentheses here and here. Here and here. Nope. Seems like that should work. Maybe because it's a const, it works. If it's not const, it wouldn't. All right, we might need to make this into a separate class. That kind of is a bummer if that's true, though. Because I'm just have a bunch of classes that are one-time use. Gotta be something. I guess it could be a function. You know what? We could just do a different return statement in each of these, right? Let's go back to where we had everything like this. Okay, let's just do if we put an else in here. It doesn't work like that. What do we do? Just do a different return. This doesn't have to be misery. Okay. And this one. If it is selected, the color will be red. And if it is not, it will be blue. Does that work? So mad at me. Did I do that else wrong? Did I do, oh, was it something with this? It is talking about object inheritance possibly. Style prop expects a mapping from style properties to values, not a string. Oh, so this is a React. Needs it to be in a different way. It needs to be like this. That's fine. Red is not defined, blue is not defined. They just need to be a string, right? That's the difference. Yay. Okay, well, it didn't seem to change the color after all of that. Style. The color is red. But I think this is the right way. Well, yeah. I think this is a step in the right direction. We just need to make it fit how React expects colors to look in the style tag. React style attribute, I guess. React CSS. Yeah, so it needs it to be style like this, color red. So they're inside of the curly brace. Oh, here's background color, all one word, capital C. Okay. I think I do remember reading that somewhere, that it changes it from the hyphens to the capitals, now that I think about it. We did it! Woo! Okay. Yes! We've done it. Now when you click it, changes background color. Now what we'll need to do is figure out if we can look into like the DOM to get the other ones and change them back. Change their state back. Which would be like during this set as current, it would change this state to selected, and then it would look at the React DOM dot get. Oh well. Could we get the other game cells? I just want, so it would be before I set this one to be the state, we would have to like get something. How do you do it here? Document.get element. Document.get element by class name, and then that class name would be game cell or game button rather. I guess it would be, I want these, but I don't think that's gonna work. Get element by tag name. That's the tag name. I wonder if this will work. Cells. Does that break it? It does. Oh, well, cells is not defined. Oh, because it needs to be like a variable or whatever. Okay, well, it doesn't crash when I click, so we might be on the right track here. So cells.length. Hold on. So for I equals 0, I guess I might have to put bar. And then I don't know if this is correct for React's way of doing for loops or anything, but if I is less than the length, then we will get that one state set state to selected false. I is not bad. Okay, so I might need to say var I. Okay, that did not work. By tag name. I want this to get all game cell tags. And it's something that is going to be like React specific, probably. React get a list of tags of a React class. Return a list of HTML elements. So create an example for the map sandbox. You'd have a JSON. This is not what I'm looking for. React lists. That's just a list in general. I get a list of click company. Clicked on company. Okay, that's not quite right either. Okay. React get list of returns of components. Render components, returns map component. No, that's not quite right either. It's rendering lists, render a list of items. I want to render, I want to get a list. Not render, not return it. Okay. Lists and keys. Render multiple components. Basic list component. Key. Extracting with key must use among siblings. So actually maybe keys is which items have changed, are added, or are removed. Keys should give elements inside a rate stable identity. It's more like a list item type deal. Okay. Well, we got it pretty far into the development here. We learned how to use React. We don't have a whole lot of time left. So what I'm going to do is write down some comments for myself here. We can also clean up things like we don't need this. We don't need this in here anymore. Remove from workspace. All right, so I guess this goes up on a list of game cells and change their state to selected false. We need to figure out how to do this. As that, let's write down some notes just for the sake of readability here. So this class, main class that is rendered unload. On bottom right to confirm selection. Game selection vote. Or on bottom showing current coin count. List of games in the backlog. Good spell. This is the table of the 4 games to be voted on. One of the 4 games to be voted on. Button that highlights it is the currently selected vote. To vote on. Select it. It automatically put the comment in for me. Okay. Something like that. We don't need these. So the games images. Okay, that'll help me next time get back to it. Really, it's just this to do. Yeah, so we need to get that next time. All right. Well, that was great. I had a lot of fun. Able to get some stuff done, which is good. But we're gonna have to end here for today. Next time we do the coding stream, we'll have to do a little bit more. Seemed like good progress and good learning. Yeah, it was. I think it was. It was pretty good progress, good learning. It was a little rough at the beginning because of, like I said, learning. So took a minute just for that. But yeah, I think we did make some good progress, and we're learning how to use React so we can hopefully remember that next time how that goes. We'll see. But yeah, that's everything for today. So thank you all for watching. Thanks again for the raid, even though I know you're gone now on the Alexander 6. But I hope to see you again. Maybe you're watching the VOD. Thank you. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.